I am indeed the luckiest person on the planet. I get to meet and greet and hang out with the coolest people. Ryan Harb, my friend, tell everybody what you're about. Let's talk about yourself for a minute.
Well, first off, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm
Yep.
really excited to be here. My name is Ryan Harbinson. I'm with Robert Half. We're a recruiting and staffing agency, international, Fortune 500 company. But really, the core to my success in the business space has really been helping people, right? As I say
Yeah.
all the time, it's all about helping and giving and, expecting nothing in return. So
Ugh, I love that message. I love that message so much, Ryan, because I've known you for a few years and you've transitioned roles and a few things that we were addressing in the green room were like, how did you do it? Like you've been able to sustain some different roles here and your career and give back, like you just said. Let's give some tips to the audience and how they can successfully
yeah,
transition?
yeah, sure. I mean, so like my background's a little wacky, right? So I'm a tech guy by trade. I started a development software company with a couple of my buddies when I was 24.
Mhm.
Transitioned into the printing and packaging and design world. Then was in the branding and marketing space, and now working for a recruiting firm. And that all kind of happened organically through the network itself. So like all my jobs that I've had over the last 15 plus years all happened through me knowing other people. Like I'm not a resume guy. I haven't made a resume in a very long time.
Uh-huh.
But part of it was people looking to bring me on because, um, it's all about, letting your network work for you, right? That's part of the magic of it. So,
Yeah, but you also have some magical tips, right? Because a lot of people are either shy or not comfortable with building that network, but your
mhm.
success story is built on the network, on, helping people and just staying friends with people to support each
Yeah,
other, right?
I mean, that's part of it too. I mean, the days of hello, sir, ma'am. Do you know that I have this product that I'm here to sell? That's over. Nobody wants that, right? I
Right.
think part of it is a couple things, right? Let's talk about how to get into it. But the key factor of it is first to mind, live in the feed, right? The
Can
social
you
media.
repeat that? First,
Sure. So first to mind,
first
live
to
in the
mind,
live in the feed.
live
So
in the feet. I've not heard that.
yeah, I mean, look, we have all these different platforms that are out there that are all free. Okay, it doesn't cost us any money to be on them, to put our world out there, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and how it works, right?
Right.
And it's understanding the platforms that you're choosing, right, that have different audiences and a different demo, right? LinkedIn's
Mhm.
different than Instagram, is different than Facebook, is different than Snapchat, is different than TikTok, is different than Twitter, and the list goes
Right.
on, right? So it's
Right.
about that messaging and that content that you're putting out that allows people to remember you, know who you are, show what you do, and also how you're an asset to helping them grow as well.
Right. How you're an asset to helping them grow. Yeah.
And I think the other part of it too is understanding like how you're building that network. And everyone goes, analysis by paralysis, right? They don't start, so they don't know where to start, so they don't, kind of a thing. The way I look at it is that it really breaks down in a couple different categories. Start slow, right? Because remember, like if you're like the head of like the like baking committee for your church that puts on a fundraiser every year, you're networking, you're building relationships with people that are integrated, and all those people have different jobs that they're in, right? Then maybe you start with a town chamber. Town chambers are great, right? They're smaller, they're more condensed, everybody really knows each other well, right? Then you kind
Yeah.
of move into like your county chambers where it's like the entire county itself, then maybe like a regional chamber, and then maybe a state chamber. And like in
Mm,
between those are associations and also groups that are affiliated with certain industries themselves. So like construction or marketing or pick your
right.
poison, you know? The way I look at it is this is that everybody's there to meet people. And just
Right.
because you don't know anybody doesn't mean that you can't know everyone when you leave. All right. So there's a couple ways to do it. I think one of the big things is if you're a little shy, you're a little timid, and it's not your MO, look for anybody with a badge. Anybody that's got a badge on, either an ambassador or a staff member, and just tell them, say, hey, this is my first time here. I've heard great things about you. They can't wait to tell you why they're the best organization in the world. It's just the way
Right.
it works. They can't wait
Right.
to tell you, right? The other thing that's important to tell them too is who do you want to meet? right?
Mm,
So if you're like, hey, I'd really love to meet some bankers, which is such an easy one because there's always 100 bankers in a room,
right,
we'll happily throw you in front of different bankers in the room, right?
right,
So always start with the people that run the organization or people that are on committees within the organization itself.
right.
And then if you're a little more brave, which this is what I kind of do, right, is look for a group of people that kind of know each other, right? Three, four, five people that are like having a conversation. And when there's a little beat in the conversation, literally just kind of like walk up slowly and just say, hi, I don't really know anybody. This is my first time here. They love it. It's the best.
I
And it
love
allows
that.
you to kind of stand out a little bit, right? So now the
Yeah,
next time that you come to this organization, they're going to remember that you're the guy that spilled your guts, and then allow you to kind of work the room a little bit better. And it's a low and slow thing, right? We were talking about this before, right? It's all about low and slow.
that's
Patience
right,
over greed. That's the name of the game. It doesn't
right.
happen over time. Any position that you're in doesn't really take, it doesn't really work until like 18 months to 2 years is really when all the gears really start to kind of get
It,
moving and going.
it does take time. We didn't really
It does.
specify that, but it it's the understanding of that as you're stepping in. But I love your example because what you're saying is just be vulnerable. I know no one here, so let's make fun of me, right? But how
Yeah.
great you just open up the conversation with a little bit of humor, and who doesn't want to hang out with somebody who's funny, especially someone who makes fun of themselves. So I love that example and I love that you shared that because I think we can all use that. You know, it isn't every networking opportunity that we know multiple people, right? And
Correct.
especially now, you know what, Ryan? I feel as if we're starting anew now because we're like back to where we were from 3 years ago or
I
whatever.
agree.
And I feel like,
2019 all over again.
right, it's 2019 all over again. So approaching it with like a beginner's mind, I think, and with some humility, right, and humor, I think will help us that much to get that much further. Would you agree?
100%. I mean, just recently I went to a huge awards ceremony gala in an industry that I'm just starting to break into in a huge room with like 400 people and I
Wow.
didn't know anyone.
So how did you handle that?
I walked up to a bunch of guys that had a couple beers that all looked like they were all chummy, and I said, "Hey guys, how you doing? First time here." And they're like, "Oh, how'd you hear about it? It's great to see you." Then I found another little group. There was like a small group of people that were like standing in front of the stage, and they were like pointing at the stage and all this, and I was just like, "Wow, really big production value here. It looks pretty awesome, huh?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's it. And nobody cares that you don't know anybody because a lot of people in the
Right,
room don't know each other anyway.
right, right.
Everybody's there
Zero
for the same reason.
expectation.
They're all there
Yeah.
for the same reason. They're there to make friends, close business, or expand their network. That's it.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Going in with zero expectation and not being nervous that you don't know anyone. That is so great. So what's a walkaway tip that we can offer today, Ryan? I mean, I love your examples. What are some things that a couple more things that we can offer the audience outside of the two that you just mentioned to help
Sure.
us build our network?
As you build that network, right, you're going to kind of it's going to kind of break off into kind of two different categories, right? So I call it like your core six and your crew, right? So your core six is more of those people that you are able to kind of have a two-way street with that allow every transaction that you create, those people can be involved in the transaction. So you have this nice referral system that's going on, right? Your
Mm,
crew is kind of the next step above that, right? So your crew are like people that have no like affiliation with your industry at all, but are just like people that you become friends with from networking.
mm,
I have like two or three groups in my phone of like six, seven, eight people, and we just send memes to each other and we laugh. We're all top of mind with each other, and we're like friends. Like I go to their house. I wasn't friends with these people 5 years ago, and now we're good friends and we enjoy each other and we're always looking out for each other. So I think that's a huge part because once you build that crew, I think the crew is more important first than the core, right? Once you build that crew, now what happens is that you have the opportunity to get access to their network,
yeah.
right? So when
Yeah.
I have that opportunity, remember the first time that you start getting introductions made for you from somebody else, the first thing you're going to talk about as that person that introduced you. So now you
That's
have
right.
a common interest between the two of you, right? And then what happens is that you can use your crew as opportunities to make introductions if you're still new in the networking phase. So if I have these 6 or 7 people that I know are pretty well connected, it's an easy thing for me to be like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to X, Y, and Z. And it might not be relevant to those people, but
Right.
you're giving, right? You're giving it out to them. It's allowing your squad to know some new people that has access to their network. And as you go, it'll continue to grow and grow and grow and grow.
And what I love about that too, Ryan, as entrepreneurs or as we're out there developing business, who likes to feel alone? None of us do.
Yeah,
But when you build this crew and you're supported by them and you support each other, you feel like you're holding each other up. So I love
100%.
it's kind of like right. It's kind of like a service that we build, a service mentality, like military, not military, but you know what I'm like. We're building this beautiful wall of support for each other and by each other. So I love that example so much.
And the more you do it, the more people are going to know that you're a connector, right? And it gets
Yeah.
to the point where you start meeting like heavy duty connectors. And they're like, how do you guys not know each other? And I'm like, I don't know, but I love to talk to this person. Like, let's talk.
Right. Isn't that a great feeling when you connect to people that have like
Yeah,
that are so huge? You're
huge
like,
networks.
right,
And
right.
like
I
then we'll
love that.
connect on like LinkedIn and we have like 183 mutual people
Right.
and we don't know each other. It's wild.
It's wild, right? It's so
Yeah.
great. It's so great that you share that, which is how I know you. Like, you and I
Yeah.
connected a few years ago, and you've transitioned into this new role, which is something that I did in my previous life. So we have so much in common. We haven't even gotten to that part. That'll be another show probably.
I'm in.
But
Part two coming soon. You heard it right here,
that's right,
folks.
part two coming soon. But like in all of this great networking, Ryan, is there something in particular that you reach for, like a piece of clothing or accessory to help build your confidence, or how does it make you feel? Do you have something
Hmm.
like that in your life that you use?
Yeah, I have a great jacket that I love to wear all the time. I have just a really nice blue like suit jacket that I actually wore when I got married with my wife, and I love that. But
Oh,
there's a great accessory that I love whenever I wear my jackets. I have this little Spider-Man face pin that I wear, and I
I've
put it in
seen
my
that.
lapel.
Yes.
The world is way too like uppity and everybody's too stiff. So like when I go to these big events, I have this Spider-Man pin that
Oh,
it's just so whatever and it sparks the conversation and it just kind of gives you the vibe of like it's okay. I like Spider-Man. So what's up,
I
you know?
love that. I love that. That could be like a key takeaway that, wear something that sparks
It's
conversation.
your
I love
personality
that.
too.
I love
So
that because it's something that you like and you see, I noticed it right away. I'm like, he's got a Spider-Man pin on his lapel. And now I know the story. What a great takeaway. Now I have to think about wearing something, that'll spark conversation, but it makes it
mhm.
easier, right? That's what we're looking at. That's what we're saying, Ryan, is it can be easy. Like
Yeah.
meeting people doesn't have to be difficult.
And I switch it up sometimes. I have a couple of them. I have like a Mortal Kombat pin that I wear, which is ridiculous, right? I have this little one that's called Foxhound, and Foxhound is like the military group in Metal Gear Solid, which is a game that it's really like deep cut. But like, I'll go to events sometimes and people are like, "Hey, nice Foxhound pin, man," and I'm like, "Oh, this guy plays games." I'm like, "I like this. This is cool."
How cool. You're
So,
finding that immediate point of interest, that
100%.
commonality, right? And that's something like that, we're in the coffee line or whatever. There's always one thing that we can find in common with someone. And
Oh
right
yeah,
with that pin, you're just handing it to us. You're just like,
100%.
here, we have something in common without even speaking a word. That is like one of my
That's it.
favorite pieces of all time. I love it. I love it. So if someone wanted to continue the conversation with you, Ryan, and talk with you a little further, find out more about these great ideas that you have, where's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, sure. So always love to connect on LinkedIn. So you just
Okay.
you can look me up. So it's just Ryan Harbinson on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So where's Harb? Check me out.
Where's Harv? I love that. So I will absolutely put that link in the show notes to make it easy for everyone to find you because you're such an easy conversationalist, which is why I have you here. Because I knew you would
Thanks.
have tremendous takeaway tips to help everybody. Because this is what we're all doing. Like you said a few moments
That's
ago,
it.
it's 2019 all over again. And here we are looking to build our businesses to the next level. So
I mean,
thank you so much.
it's great.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I mean, you having me on opens it up to another network of people that I don't know, and then vice versa. So who knows? So
who
it's
knows?
all great.
Nope.
I really appreciate the opportunity. It's awesome to be on here.
I thank you for your time. You're so generous with your time, and I appreciate it so much, Ryan. I hope you have a great day.
I will. Thanks. You too.
Thanks.